Hey guys, today we are checking out the specifications of Reolink's 16 megapixel 8K security camera. It's the Reolink Duo 3 and it's a pretty amazing image, right? But wait, this is just half of the image. I can't wait to show you everything that this camera has to offer. So right off the bat, the camera has two lenses, and the camera's firmware stitches the two images together to give one wide 180-degree image. Basically, it's two cameras in one, but you only need to buy one camera and you end up with twice the coverage. It's a great camera if you have a large space to monitor all at once, all in one view. I can see all the way back to my fence here at 300 feet away, and my property lines are 100 on each side. Pretty impressive. And here in my driveway, I can monitor my garage doors, the entire driveway, and a bunch of extra space here on the left. So before we get into all this fun stuff, thanks to Reolink for setting me up with this camera in exchange for my honest feedback. Here's what's on tap for today. We're going to start off chatting about this upgraded model and how it's different from the previous Duo 2. Then we're going to pop open the box and see what's included. Then I'll introduce you to the specifications of the camera up close and check out some examples on the top features offered by this camera. Lastly, we're going to finish off with some fun stargazing and water testing. Then we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts. Okay, so what are the differences between the Duo 3 and the Duo 2? Well, first off, the price. The Duo 2 now costs about $110 American, and the 3 comes in just shy of $170. Keep an eye out for deals because Reolink seems to always have a sale running. I'll put links in the description below if you want to check out the current pricing. Now, the most significant change with the Duo 3 is the resolution. The Duo 2 has an 8 megapixel resolution across the two cameras, where the 3 has 16. That's twice as much detail. With this wide-angled camera, we are capturing more detail, resulting in a cleaner and sharper image. The next upgrade is the lens. The Duo 2 has a 3.2mm lens with an f-stop of 2, where the 3 is slightly wider at 2.8mm and has an f-stop of 1.6. This aperture upgrade allows more light to enter the camera for a better image at night. Here's what the camera sees at night, and here is how I see it. The camera sees a lot more than what I can see. This new lens also presents a slight difference in the vertical field of view. It's 60 degrees in the 2, and in the 3 it's 55. The horizontal view remains the same at 180 degrees. Now, the next difference is the camera's IP waterproof rating. The Duo 2 has a rating of IP66 and the 3 is slightly better at IP67. It survived my water test and this snow, where the temperature dipped below -10 degrees Celsius or 14 Fahrenheit, which is the lowest specified operating temperature of this camera. There are also a couple of firmware changes I found impressive. The audio is super clear. They've added this noise reduction, but more to come on that shortly. I also love the new motion track feature. Basically, it gives you a single photo showing moving objects on the timeline. In this example, here's the video and fast forward. Here is the image that it produced. The shadows didn't show, but not too bad. Now in this example here is the video and the image that it produced. Pretty cool. In this last example, I covered a lot of ground. And well, this one here, I'm not really sure what I expected. It's like the camera takes an initial photo and then takes snippets of my motion and overlays them on the main image without overlapping any of those other snippets. It's a cool feature and I had some fun with it. The camera sends you the image over email, and setting up my Gmail account to send me those images took me about 5 minutes. If you have some struggles with that, I'll put a link in the description below to help you out. Next, we're going to see what's included in the box. We're going to scan through this pretty quick. Starting off, we have the instructions on how to assemble the weatherproof cover for the RJ45 data connection. Out next, we have a surveillance sticker for a window or a fence post. And next we have a reminder to upgrade your NVR. Don't use the auto update feature here. Check which version you currently have installed and then go to the Reolink site to ensure that you have the latest version. Instructions on how to update are in the description, including which NVRs are compatible with this camera. And next we have a quick start guide. Here is a short network cable for testing the device before installing it in its permanent location. A pack of installation screws, including an Allen key in there and a reset pin. And this is the waterproof coupler or seal. The mount itself is pretty impressive, good quality here. And lastly, we have the camera. And it's actually much heavier than I anticipated. It's about 400 grams or 1.5 pounds. Has a nice solid feel to it. Let's start off our tour by checking out the connection ports. Here we have a 12 volt DC power connection. Now a 2 amp power adapter isn't included because the camera can be powered using PoE or power over Ethernet using the RJ45 Ethernet connection. This means that you need to connect the camera to the NVR using a single network cable. If connecting the camera directly to your network and not using the NVR, a PoE switch would be required. Oh yeah, and did you notice that the connections are a little bit offset so they don't interfere with each other when feeding them through a hole? Well done, Reolink. So now it's time to get the camera up and running on the NVR. Let's plug it into the NVR for first time use. So what you'll need to do is find an open port or channel on the back of the NVR and then plug in the connector. And that's it. It takes about 30 seconds. And the best part is it only uses one channel on the NVR, even though there are 2 cameras within the device. Now to go to full screen, double click, and we'll do a quick lag test. Yeah, not too bad considering how much data this captures and sends to the NVR. Now if you're connecting the camera through your local network, instead of connecting it directly to the NVR, but the NVR is still on your network, simply plug it in anywhere on your network and the feed will come through. No action is required. Regardless of how it's connected in the Reolink app, the camera will automatically be added to the NVR and you'll see it under that NVR in the app. And as you may know, an NVR is not required. You could use the camera as a standalone device, and to add it, scan the QR code and give it a password, and that's it, you're done. The camera will appear in the app as a standalone device. It's that easy. Once you've added it to your phone, you can rotate it sideways for a better view, and the image can be moved around and zoomed in. Moving back to our camera tour, on the top here we have a screw hole. This matches the one here on the bottom. This is so the camera can be installed on a wall or an overhang. So let's roll these 2 setup options now. For the wall, attach the metal mount support using the 2 top screw holes. I like to use my own screws. Then hang the mount before adding the last screw. The last screw will keep the mount attached. Now you can go ahead and attach the camera and point it in the desired direction. You're going to want to remove the cap and feed the wires through the mount if you have a hole in the wall. It actually might be easier to connect the wires first, depending on your setup. For the overhang setup, point the metal bracket in the direction that you want the camera to point and then follow the same steps. Super easy. You could leave it like this or turn it around to hide the mount's cross brace and wire a hole. So now back to the underside of the camera, we have this little cover where we can find the factory reset button. It also has a micro SD card slot for cards up to 256 gigs. A card of that size is going to hold about 65 hours of footage. In the Reolink app, you can set up the camera to record when motion is detected or continuously on a schedule. So no NVR is required. Again, this can be a standalone device without the NVR, and you can access it remotely and check out the live feed or any footage that was previously recorded. Towards the rear of the camera, we have the camera speaker. In the Reolink app, the volume can be controlled here, and here is a quick demo of the audio from the camera when I'm speaking from my phone. At first, I'm 10 feet or 3 meters away, and then I'm at 100 feet or 30 meters away. And this is what the audio sounds like from the phone to the camera. And this is the audio from 100 feet away. I must say I'm really impressed with the quality of the speaker here. Oh yeah, and the camera has an alarm. It's really loud. Let's test that out at 300 feet or 90 meters away. And we'll see if we can hear the alarm from here. So let's hit sound test. Pretty cool, and the siren can be manually triggered or set off when motion is detected. Now speaking of audio, the mic is located right here on the front. It's super sensitive, so just listen to this truck approaching from several hundred feet away. And here is a quick voice sample from 10 feet or 3 meters. So this is what the audio sounds like. From the camera to the phone. I'm impressed with the audio overall. It's super clear and crisp, and there's little to no wind noise. And moving right along to the camera's face, right here we have the light sensor to tell the camera when to switch between daytime and nighttime modes. Surrounding the lens, we have two types of lights. First off, we have the white spotlights. They're controlled through the app like this. They can also be triggered when motion is detected, but not just from moving leaves on a tree from the wind, but you can specify if you want them to be activated from motion from people, vehicles, or animals. Here at night, the camera is 300 feet or 90 meters away, and I'm located in this dark spot right here. So let's turn on those lights. Wow, I'm really impressed how much light it can throw out. Let's test the motion detection. So I'm getting closer to the 50, there we are. So that's the 50-foot mark right there. So I'm at about 55 feet. You can also set up phone notifications as well, which will also get triggered at about the same distance. The second set of lights we have surrounding the lens are the infrared night vision lights. These glow a little red for us, but for the camera, they provide adequate lighting for the camera to see at night in black and white mode. They have an effective range of 30 meters or just under 100 feet. Well, kind of. Here we are in the daytime, and I've marked these distances. This camera isn't designed to see details at that distance in the daytime, let alone at night. So at night, and I have no street lights, it's pitch black here. So of course there's going to be even less detail. And you can see that these are rabbits. And yes, the IR lights will reach that far, but when it comes to the finer details at those long distances, this camera isn't made for that. Now here we are in the driveway, and I'll approach the camera with my license plate starting at 100 feet or 30 meters away. It's not recognizable until I'm about 50 feet or 15 meters away. But at night, with the spotlights on, the plate's reflective surface shines right back into the camera. My face isn't recognizable until about 30 feet or just over 9 meters away, and it's a little blurry with some noise. That's a common issue with color night vision. And now with the IR night vision lights on, we still have the reflective plate, and my face is recognizable at about the 40-foot mark, which is just over 12 meters. And there's no blur, so I already touched on the lens. So let's talk about what's in behind it. The camera uses two 1/2.7 inch CMOS sensors. They capture footage from 4 to 20 frames per second. When exporting footage from the NVR, the file's resolution is 2160 by 7680. So for those of you who watch my channel, I always feature a segment where I connect the camera to Blue Iris, the security camera management software for PC. So technically it does work, but the frame rate and buffering, they have issues. The footage was slow and laggy, so just check out the time difference of the actual time on the top of the camera and the time on the bottom, which was when Blue Iris recorded that footage. There is about a 4.5 minute difference. Not a deal breaker on the camera, but just an FYI. Alright guys, so let's finish off with a couple of fun tests. I set up the camera here, pointing towards the north to capture the night sky. Here in the middle we have Polaris, the North Star, and over right here we have the Big Dipper. And so far the image is really good. I haven't seen a consumer brand camera capture stars of this quality in a long time. Just amazing. Up next, I'm going to break out the garden hose and do a quick water test. I soaked the camera and it had no issues living up to its IP67 weatherproof abilities. It handled it like a champ. Alright guys, that wraps up my detailed review on this upgraded Reolink Duo 3 security camera. So far I'm very impressed with this performance, and I think they've included some valuable upgrades versus the Duo 2. And for the price, you're basically getting two cameras in one. The coverage of this camera is amazing. The daytime video looks great, and the nighttime video is also impressive. The audio has definitely improved, and the motion detection works well, and the motion tracking is a lot of fun. It's great to see a camera with so many features and so easy to set up all in one device. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel to ensure you don't miss out on any future videos. Links for everything seen here today are below, so do check those out. I hope that you found this information helpful. If so, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.